Call the names. Wake the room. Wake the room. Wake the room! Lou, Rex, Pam Ray, Naomi, Afasiana, Babbler, Monarch Soul, Jojo, Grey Eyes, fill my eyes. Poets assemble. No masks, no manners. Say it plain, or say it broken. Monday night in the garden of enlightenment. Low light lit minds, every line got intent. Clock ticks crooked and the room turns vigilant. Quiet so loud you can hear what the tension meant. Then it slips after midnight, manners get murdered. Nice little masks get cracked by a word or a murmur. Twisted Tuesdays twist truth till it turns on its heel. Clean cut faces go strange when the dark gets real. You can feel that shift, that slick little slip when the grin stays sweet, but the eyes don't sit. Like the room grew ribs, like the walls grew ears, like the hush got hands and it's pulling you near. And the words don't rest, they press. Put a heel on the chest, leave a dent in the breath. Every line like a knock from the back of the brain. Like you came in one shape, you won't leave the same. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whispering the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, Wednesday breaks, parts in the park, sink down the spine, half halo, half hazard, both hands in the light. Then the art of seduction walks soft through the smoke, silk on the tongue with the blade in the joke. Books and bards wakes dust in the depth of the shelves. Old ghosts lean out and start naming themselves in a craft and sullen art. The ache gets a voice, pain stands up straight and makes silence a choice. Then break on through when the devil gives way, when the masses sink but the pulse says pray. Echoes in the dark, go hunt the fear, that thing when no name starts ringing in your ear. Say it, say it. Fill my eyes with poetry, don't water it down. Let it bite, let it bloom, let it burn through the crowd. Bad company grins like a bruise, dressed smart, and rhythm and rhyme puts a boot through the heart. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whisper in the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, some come shattered, some come slick. Some speak honey with a blade in it. Some sound velvet, some sound wire. Some walk in low and take the room higher. Some come holy, some come liars. That's the thing! This ain't filler for the dead space, no. This is pulse with a pen, this is blood with a nickel. This is breath to the backbone, ink with the crown. Live mics, live nerves, truth laid bare in the round. This is the beautiful mess, the bruise and the bloom. The line that cuts clean and makes a little room. Late souls, wide eyes, all nerve in the dark. A room full of hearts beating hard through the dark. Wake the room, wake the room. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. slips past polite. We tell the truth. LNP, we love you. Stay frosty.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Seduction. Warm, wonderful poetry compelling you to the edge of your seat. Sultry, seductive, and scintillating. Ink to make you shiver, to make you sigh. I am Pam Ray, and with me is my co-host, Gray Eyes Smith. Gray Eyes and I are poets on a website called All Poetry with a group of poets called Late Night Poets. Tonight is our sensual poetry night, and if you find that is not your cup of tea, please check out our other shows. We have 1 to 2 shows per night on a variety of styles of topics and poetry, something to suit everybody's taste. Also, make sure when you get a chance to check out the poetry anthologies put out by Late Night Poets on Amazon, because when you purchase those, you not only get amazing poetry, you help support these radio shows. And hello, Gray. How's it going?
Hi, Pam Ray. It's going well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Good. I am doing good. I am doing good. I got out of the house for a very little bit today because it was just a mostly stay indoors kind of day. It was a well balanced day, a little bit of keeping productive and a little bit of just, laying around, listening to uh, podcasts and music and that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, all good here. And let's see. I see that we have T Manzano, Tim, in chat. So hello to Tim. Good to see him. And yeah, so we have a great lineup of poetry, central poetry for tonight. Um, and it's going to be a variety because a pre-write, it was basically me and you are running a huge pre-writes contest that is supposed to, in theory, cover this show and next week's show. So we have a huge amount on the board, but the idea is if there's any carryovers, which there most likely will be, they will go on next week, along with to let people know that the contest has been reopened and I've added more spots to it. So anybody who hasn't already put a right in the contest and you want to share something sensual, that is not smut, porn, or vulgar, go ahead and do that. Plus, there is still people who actually haven't given me permission and aren't on the blanketed permission list. So if you know the contest I'm talking about, if you entered the contest and your right's not on the board, well, there may be a chance that you just didn't give permission. So that's just, something to remind people of that. But yeah, I always enjoy a variety of different sexy, sensual approaches to the topic. And of course, looking forward to hanging out with you, Gray, and other cool poets. And I don't know if you feel up to posting links and assigning readers.
Yeah, sure, I could do that.
Ah, right. Well, that
Okay.
sounds very good. So whenever you're ready, we can get this ball rolling.
Alrighty, I'll post the first link into the group here. And this is called Names by, sorry, 1 second here, Kai Bob. And I'll give this a read. Tonight, in hearing rivets on the roof, the wet, undivided swallowing of wind, throwing back the dusty trees of what has came. Come, to be our touch. I can't remember who I was before the rain. It must have been our wet embrace in closets, melting color, touching gray against the black, white, blinking of the morning sunset that told us skin is lonely. And since it seems I can't remember sprays of oil scent, sunny waves touching blue, drinking separated air, it must be that I never said your name. Rain falls to breathe in wet, the smell of sparrow fingers nursing smoothly in her slippery nest of melting limbs and sliding skin against the throbbing, unseparated exchange of names and poem. And this has got a whole plethora of ribbons. It's got 7 gold, uh, probably 11 greens, and a couple of bronze as well. So, and a silver. So amazing. Good job. What
Wow,
did you think,
yeah,
Pam, right?
absolutely. Well, that's a good question there, right? Great. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, first of all, great read there. Um, yeah, this is definitely a poem that's well deserving of all those medals. I like how to me there's a consistency in tone in this that has a real strong emotional impact. Amazing imagery and metaphors. I feel like, at least to me, I see this um, as a searching for love, searching for that idea of someone you can deeply connect with. There's some wonderful sensuality throughout, but
Oh, sorry, my
I
dog.
oh, is that what? uh, they have an opinion too. So I did especially like that last stanza. Rain falls to breathe in wet, the smell of sparrow fingers nursing smoothly in her slippery nest of melting limbs and sliding skin against the throbbing, unseparated exchange of names. Absolutely beautifully written and very well done by K-Bab. And your thoughts, Gray?
Sorry, I had to correct my dog and get her to stop barking. But no, I thought it was rich in metaphor, imagery, and emotion. You know, it's got all three quite blended, quite well blended throughout the right. Um, where it says, and since it seems I can't remember sprays of oil scented sunny waves touching blue, drinking separated air, it must be that I never said your name. That's a real thought provoking stanza, but I like the way it closed out with rain falls to breathe in wet, the smell of sparrow fingers nursing smoothly in her slippery nest of melting limbs and sliding skin against the throbbing, unseparated exchange of names. That's rich in metaphor and beautifully crafted. So nicely done, Kai Bob.
Absolutely. And what do we have next, Gray?
All right, so up next we have Topsy Turvy Love by Bert Ebert. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, ma'am.
I would be happy to. All right. Falling in and out of love, women everywhere in my life, close encounters, endless flirting, my heart sprouting nonsense. I want them all, unable to settle with one. I think I have the Casanova syndrome, but one special girl has caught my attention. The way she looks at me with a concealed smile full of wickedness, enticing, suggestive body language. Electricity is in the air. Can't help it. I'm falling in love again. This time is different. I don't want to leave her. I ask myself, is she the one? All I can think. I love you all day long. My world has turned upside down. Pure blissfulness. End poem. I really like that artwork that he wrote too. That is really cool. What's that called? Negative space art. Um, and your thoughts, Gray?
Yeah, I enjoyed the image as well, and the whole poem was nicely done. You know, he's got the first stanza where he's Mr. Casanova falling in love with everybody, and then in the second stanza, one girl catches his eye and his attention, and the way she looks with a concealed smile full of wickedness, enticing, suggestive body language. Electricity is in the air. Can't help it. I'm falling in love again. This time it's different. Um, so I guess only time will tell whether she is the one or was the one. Nicely done.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment there, Gray. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Casanova syndrome is a psychological pattern characterized by compulsive seduction, a need for multiple romantic conquests, and avoidance of deep emotional intimacy. I really felt like this poem read like a rom-com movie. Like it's a brevity poem with only two stanzas. Although I think that it could be three stanzas if that other second one was broken up. But it reads to me like I could actually imagine this being one of those romantic comedy movies about a Casanova who ends up getting his own payback. Like in my mind, I know he doesn't say it, but in my mind, I picture it being that idea that he's like this Casanova guy who just has to have all these, sensual conquests and doesn't want to commit. And then he comes across this woman that is basically the female version of him, and he gets a taste of his what's what. But it could also be that he learns to love. I mean, there could be the more romantic idea that he learns what true love actually is. And, he, and he kind of leaves open ended. I mean, he says, "My world has turned upside down, pure blissfulness." So obviously his life isn't what it was before, and it just feels so good. But really, really clever lines. I think both parts work really well together because, as you were saying, Gray, the first stanza sets the tone of what the problem is, and then the second stanza is kind of like, okay, now here's how things are going to change. So excellent, right, and nicely done by Biebert. And back to you, Gray.
Thank you, Pam. Great comment. All right, so up next we have Rose Petals and Goosebumps by Bluesman. I don't get that to read. Oh goodness, the whole background thing's throwing me off. I can't read. Can you? Maybe you
Oh
should
my,
read this, Pam. I can't see the letters in the roses.
sure, no problem. I know I honestly every time this so rarely happens, but I have to start putting as a rule in my contest that there can be no colored print
Right. I
because
mean, if you used a white print or a black print, even, I mean, you might be able to read it, but it's red, so it just blends right into
It
those
it's
roses.
it is awful. I can read it. It's just not my favorite thing to do. But I will go ahead and give this a read, and then mental note to self: no more colored print in my contests. That will
Yeah.
become a rule.
Right.
So, all right. Rose Petals and Goosebumps by Bluesman. Rose petals fall from canopy in such a lovely scented rain. As passionate bed is rocking, candles flicker upon the pane. Soulful moans of euphoria, body trembles with delight as wandering tongues tempt, a raging firestorm ignites. Fingertips trace musky curves, goosebumps follow close behind as deep orgasms ripple forth. And to an explosion within the mind. Euphoric mist beads to sweat. She runs hot water for the tap, gathering up scented petals in the bathtub. In the bath, their bodies rub. Rose petals swirling on water in a steaming bath tonight. If you're with that special person, any position with them feels right. End poem. And
Beautiful.
your thoughts, Gray?
You did a wonderful read of that, Pam Ray. I'm glad you did that because I sure couldn't. But yeah, it's very seductive and erotic. I mean, it's you've got soulful moans of euphoria, body trembles with delight, wandering tongues tempt, raging firestorm ignites. There's so much heat and passion in that. And then finally, the climax comes with deep orgasms ripple forth, uh, mind explosion. I'm not sure what that says. Something explosion with the mind. Yeah, and then the bast, with the rose petals and stuff. It's so beautiful. Um, that's the way you want to spend the night for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great comment there, Gray. Yeah, this has a wonderful rhyme and flow. Great imagery. Um, I like how it speaks on the idea of the euphoria of lovemaking. And the idea if you're with that special person, any position with them feels right. It just sounds like a wonderful night of exploration. Um, and there's these wonderful lines throughout. But I did especially like soulful moans of euphoria, body trembles with delights as wandering tongues tempt, a raging firestorm ignites. Wonderful lines by Bluesman and very well done. All right. And what do we got next?
Alrighty. So since you read two, I will read two in a row, and then that way we're caught up.
That sounds like a good plan.
Alrighty. So we have Leaf Van Amsterdam brings us Love Her. I'll paste this into the group. And I figured out that if I highlight, like as if I'm going to copy the words, it just stands right out against the background. So I'll know that for the
Oh,
future.
that's good.
Yeah. All right. So we have Love Her by Leaf Van Amsterdam. Stimulation, arousal, a single erect nipple, stroke smoothly for hours, continue action under showers. Breasts from heaven, God's perfection, two pretty presents for life, whether on a lover or a wife. Poetry wrapped around my waist in the middle of the night, in the lap of luxury, my gifted girl and I, turning me on in new ways, looking sexier every day, feeling so much better than yesterday. I'm so glad you're not gay, but bi is okay. End poem.
Yeah, great read there, Gray. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I like the little bite of humor at that end line because isn't that the way it seems with how many guys think it's like, you know what? Please don't be gay, but you know what? If you want to be with a woman and me, well, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But let's see. Definitely it's got this straightforward style. Like I said, to me, anyways, there's this humor at the end that I really appreciate. The first stanza makes me think of obsession, like the idea. I don't know, like I'm kind of have mixed feelings. On one hand, it seems to be almost like metaphorical. The idea of playing with just a single erect nipple for hours seems almost to be a metaphor for overly focused obsession. But at the same time, I feel like, well, wait a minute. If you have access to somebody's entire body, why the heck would you be focused on just one part for hours? I mean, that's just my thoughts. But I have to say, I thought this was great. It had some great lines all the way through, but I did especially like that third stanza. Poetry wrapped around my waist in the middle of the night, in the lap of luxury, my gifted girl and I. Wonderful lines by Leaf Van Amsterdam, and very well done. And your thoughts, Gray?
Yeah, that whole playing with the nipple for hours got me. Really, I mean, it was. How can you not be slapped upside the head at that point? You know,
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
point there,
that's just
Gray.
got to be. That's got to irritate the hell out of you. I mean, I can see for a couple of
Right?
minutes or something, but a couple of hours, oh my goodness. There's other body parts to play with, really.
Yeah, I mean, they're an absolute delight to play with, but for hours, yeah, I don't think so.
I know, right? I mean, I don't see any woman tolerating that, quite honestly. That would just drive me
Probably
batty.
not.
I mean, I've got nipples and they're pretty sensitive, but I wouldn't want anybody playing with them one for hours. No, thank you. No, thank you very much. Thank you
Um,
kindly. All right, so I'm going to post the next group to the link. But no, that was a good rate. I liked it.
it was. I did enjoy the humor of it, and it was quite fun.
Yeah. All right, so up next we have Ivy Love by Macris. I'll give that a read. Don't always know what I'm waiting for until her fingers learn where to be, tracing touches and gentle pauses along a body no longer free. Doesn't rush into my quiet spaces or break walls round soul and heart, just works her hands into my cracks while slowly moving them apart. Patient, growing like ivy love, cool, persistent, and creeping slow, curling along my edges dark, spaces only she knows to go. Holds me close without taking, lets her tendrils slowly find, and in hushes between each breath we find that we are now entwined and full.
Great
What did you
read there, Gray.
what did you
Oh, I
think,
think
Pam?
this is just absolutely beautiful. It has wonderful rhyme and flow. I love the title Ivy Love and how that third stanza especially connects with the title and the idea of a love that grows patiently. Patience growing like ivy love, cool, persistent, and creeping slow, curling along my edges dark, spaces only she knows to go. I like that this right, and especially that stanza, which has amazing imagery and metaphors, speaks on the idea of someone who knows you intimately, both physically and emotionally. And the idea of a love that through patience creates a deep connection between two people. This is a beautiful write by Macris and very well done.
Thank you, Pam. Yeah, it was a great comment. All right, so I'm going to post the next poem here to get to it.
You weren't going to comment on Macris?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, the I like the tonation of her being like ivory creeping into cracks that only she knows, and and wrapping herself. I mean, ivy can slowly choke you out, quite honestly, but there is an intimacy there that ivy finding places that it can take hold in and grow. Beautifully done, Macris. All right, up next we have Slowly, Softly, Deeply by Stig and DC. And if you're ready, Pam.
All right. Getting back to where I need to be. And Aimlessly, mindlessly, my fingertips wander, slowly tracing your shoulder blade, following its contours in decreasing circles, so softly so you don't stir. Your breaths come barely, obliviously, deep in your sleep. Lying next to you, curled up in a question mark, your exhaltations, your, your exhaltions, a cool breeze on my cheek, punctuated by gentle twitches and light snores. Your hair framed by the window, each strand orange and translucent against the late afternoon sun. I want to move. My arm aches. I'm hungry, and I need to sip my cooling tea. Still, you breathe on. Still, my fingers move, tracing circles around bones, along the line of tendons, and now fanned to stroke smooth muscles. I lean closer and give you a kiss. And poem. And your thoughts, Gray?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. There's an intimacy there, a closeness that is it's enviable and it's palpable. Um, you don't want to disturb your lover while they sleep. So you don't, and that's just respect right there. So nicely done, Stig NDT.
Absolutely,
Great
absolutely.
read
Yeah,
as
I think.
well, Pam Ray.
Well, thank you, Gray. I have to say, I think no, I recognize that picture. I was thinking I hadn't seen the name Stig NDC before, but I don't know because I recognize the image they use in their picture. So but this was a fun write. This was, I mean, it is nice to spend time with your lover in bed, but at the same time it kind of reaches that point where you want to your arm free. You want to like, this feels so good to be here with you, but my tea is cooling down. In my case, it would be my coffee. Like, I would have to move that arm. Uh, just I would have to push them off the bed or something just to be able to you know to be able to just get up and have some coffee. But I thought this was quite clever. I think the end line was romantic. I lean closer and give you a kiss. But in that last stanza, there's definitely some great humor. I have to say, I think the for the language choice, and for the gentle sense of sensuality, I did really like the flow of that first stanza. So nicely done by Sig NDC.
Great comment, Pam Ray. All right, up next we have Enraptured by Peter Bowron. I'll give this a read. Seduction stalks on stockinged feet. She slinks one step away, outside my line of sight. Vanilla and patchouli scents delight, enrapture me. I'm captured by a sphinx, repeating memories of dates and drinks. Each gape, she's gowned in velvet, dark as night, intriguing me with legs in lace drawn tight. Germane to her intent, my salty minx. No plan in mind, she sang with me to my guitar I played nearly 50 years ago. Even so, she sat so close I caught her scent, and after that her hand upon my thigh replied to mine. There never was a no. Surrender came by mutual consent. End poem.
Great read, Gray. And what a happy looking couple in that photo. Look at those big smiles. This is a wonderful write by Peter Bowron. I see he won a silver in another contest. That is definitely well deserved. I like the rhyme and flow in this. I like the straightforward style and how it brings the reader into the intimacy of the moment shared. And I like how it speaks on the idea of mutual surrender to feelings of love and desire felt. Um, and I thought there was great lines throughout, but I especially like seduction stalks on stockinged feet. She slinks one step away outside my line of sight. Vanilla and patchouli scents, delight. Wonderful lines and very well done by Peter Bowron.
Thank you, Pam Ray. Yeah, I mean, it's such a reverential and endearing rite throughout. It's just filled with love and passion and desire and mutual consent. I like that. So beautifully done, Peter Bowron. Beautifully done. All right.
Absolutely. Well said there, Gray.
Thank you, Pam Ray. So I went to put Peter excellent right, and it almost typed out excruciating.
Excruciating.
That's a heck of a comment, eh? Excruciating right.
Oh my goodness gracious. I can imagine the look on somebody's face.
I know, right? Like, no, not
Oh,
excruciating. Excellent. My goodness.
yes.
All right, Pam Ray. Up next, we have Flames by Ruby2446.
Is it my turn to read?
Yes, it is.
All right. All right. Let me get back to that. All right. She silently screams, every thought burned from her mind, her tongue waiting its turn to sear his skin as his teased and probed the delicate skin of her perfumed neck. He found her pulse pressing as it quickened to the presence of her length against his. Even toes touched, stretched every inch of skin on skin, flaming. She became his pulse. He silently mouthed hot breaths. She held his head. She heard feelings, felt words, nothing but quivers and trembles. A raging pond of wanton, swirling calm. Earth, wind, fire, and water burned as they lost their grip on reality. End poem.
Beautiful read, Pam Ray. But that really captured your attention right from the get go. She silently screams. Every thought burned from her mind, her tongue waiting its turn to sear his skin as his teased and pitched, probed the delicate skin of her perfumed neck. I mean, what a way to enter a storyline. You're already hooked. Then he found her pulse, pressing it as it quickened to the pressure of her length against his. Even toes touch, stretched every inch of skin on skin, flaming. I really enjoyed that. That was a beautiful write. What did you think, Pam Ray?
Oh, I thought this was beautiful. First of all, that artwork that's attached to the poem is absolutely gorgeous. And I see Ruby won a gold in this. Definitely, at least I think it's gold. Let me check here. Yes, she did win the gold. Well deserved with that. Oh my goodness, this is so captivating, wonderful imagery and metaphors. I like how this speaks on a sense of desire that builds up with intensity. Like you can feel the heat of exchange between bodies and minds shared between these two people. And I thought both stanzas were just beautifully written. But I did especially like that second stanza, and especially where it says, nothing but quivers and trembles, a raging pond of wanton swirling calm, earth, wind, fire, and water burned as they lost their grip on reality. Wonderful lines and very well done by Ruby 2446.
Great comment, Pam Perry. Thank you so much. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Right, nicely done, Ruby. Congratulations on your gold medal. All right, so I'm gonna grab the next link here. I will post this to the board. And this is by Letters by Larry, and it's called The Language of Our Silence. I'll post this to the group. There we go. All right. The Language of Our Silence by Letters by Larry. We met at Quitro Colon, that old spot we branded ours, a velvet cell with curtains low for the acoustics of our silence. Your tongue marked words as inflation. My hands needed a new language to make your breath go rough like mine, teaching our lungs to lose the count. We swayed beneath the thinning lights. Your fingers trembled through my hair. The violins dissolved like smoke across the blue cathedral room. I felt your heartbeat miss a step while slow rain silvered both our shoes. You smiled as if goodbye could bloom inside the waltz we would not end. End poem.
Great read there, Gray. This is an absolutely beautiful write by Letters by Larry, who is a very talented poetess. I love the imagery in this. It's got such these thoughtful lines. It is a treat for the senses. I like how even the title itself, the title and the poem speak on the beauty of silence, a comfortable silence shared between two people, and the idea of the music and the dance that connects body and soul. And I think both stanzas were absolutely amazing. But I did especially like that second stanza. So, absolutely an amazing write and very well done. And I see my co host dropped. So, um, and T. Manzano says, Letters by Larry never disappoints, wonderfully conveyed. Oh, absolutely. I have to agree. All right. Now, just got to wait for my co host to come back. But in the meantime, Larry, thank you very much. I always feel like I'm slightly off on your pronunciation of your name, but thank you very much for sharing this with us. It is greatly appreciated. All right, and welcome back, Gray. Gray, are you on mute?
Yes, I was trying to fight the button there. Yeah, I apologize. I got disconnected. So, anyway, I'm back, and I really enjoyed the write. Um, Got to get back to it here. The collab between Christoph and Letters by Larry it's seamless. You really can't tell that it was written by two people. So I've always enjoyed collabs, especially when they're seamless and flawless, such as this one. But I really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
I felt your
I
heartbeat
completely
miss a
forgot.
step. I felt your heartbeat miss a step, while slow rain silvered both our shoes. You smiled as if goodbye could bloom inside the waltz we would not end. I liked it. It was beautiful. Nicely done. Letters by Larry and Christoph.
Oh, I have to
Okay.
agree. And thank you for reminding me that that is a collaboration. So definitely great writing done by both Letters by Leary and Christoph. So nicely done. All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. All right,
And
just need to finish.
just so you know, our next three rights have recordings.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All righty then. Be that way. All right. Post this to the group. This is called "She Sold Me Her Sanctuary" by Philip Phil the Poet. All right, here we go. Post this to the group.
All right. And I will go ahead and give that a play. Let me turn the volume up slightly because sometimes that's needed. All right.
This is a poem by Phil the Poet called She Sold Me Her Sanctuary. She sold me her sanctuary with a kiss, locked her lips, my heart she eclipsed, her tongue licking my flaming desire, passion ignited our funeral pyre. Two silhouettes tightly entwined, clinging souls in a fleshly shrine, breathing deeply and so intense, with mandrake-filled incense. Streamlined nymph with perfect curves, teases like a flame, tingles my nerves, dances the fandango in stiletto heels, feels the sting of British steel. Candle wax pouring over delicate skin, hands clenched, let the desire begin. Riding like a roller coaster virgin, screaming as I take her for a spin. Left panting, but fully satisfied, in our sanctuary we do lie, listening to the pouring rain. I'm so glad that she came. End poem.
Wonderful read and write here, Phil the Poet. Thank you for this recording. It is very much appreciated. Just a reminder, everyone, if you're unable to call in, the next best thing is to make a recording of your poem, because then we get to hear your poetry in your voice or how you would like it to be presented. You know, I don't think I actually read too much sensual poetry by Phil the Poet, and I have to say he is quite good at it. Wonderful, wonderful lines throughout, great rhyme and flow. I love the imagery in this, and the wordplay is great, and I absolutely love the song that he got inspiration from. She Sells Sanctuary by The Cult, a 1985 classic. Captivating lines, wonderful sensuality on sanctuary found within the kiss of love and desire shared. And I thought there was such great lines throughout. But I have to say, I did especially like the second and third stanzas, and especially streamlined nymph with perfect curves, teases like a flame, tingling my nerves, dances the fandango in stiletto heels, feels the sting of British steel. Wonderful lines and very well done. And your thoughts, Gray?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the write. She sold me her sanctuary is a great title. Um, but candle wax pouring over delicate skin, hand clenched, let the desire begin. Riding like a roller coaster virgin, screaming as I take her for a spin. Like, holy cow, man, that's intense, really. Um, but left panting but fully satisfied. In our sanctuary, we do lie, listening to the pouring rain. I'm so glad that she came. I mean, just really good, really, really nicely done, Phil the Poet. And like you said, I've never known him to be a seductive poet, but he sure really knocked this one out of the ballpark. So great job, Phil.
Oh, I have to agree. Absolutely. Great comment there, Gray. And I would like to give a shout out to Weaver and our other listeners on you, other people listening on YouTube. So hello, Kate. Hello, anyone else listening on YouTube? Good to know you're listening in, and good to have you here with us. So very nice.
So I think Weaver is trying to call into the show, but she clicked the YouTube link instead of the StreamYard link.
Oh, okay. Well, she needs to come into the studio in order for me to bring her on.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna copy the link and I'll send it to her.
that sounds
That way,
good. That sounds good. And what we can do is we can always play the other audio, the poem that I think, if I remember the way they go correctly, like we can do another one before we do Weavers, and that will give her time.
yeah, okay, so I'm gonna paste this to her.
All right.
Weaver, check your messages on all poetry. Click the
Yeah.
link that I sent you, and then come into the studio that way. Because
Yep.
you can't
Then
get
we
in
can.
through YouTube.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, where are we here? Okay, for some reason I'm 12 hours back in late night poets. Alright, there we go. But yeah, that was an excellent write by Phil the Poet. Um, I'm quite amazed at his ability to do sensual rites. It was really spot on, so excellent job, Phil. Nicely done.
Oh, and
Alright.
just to let you know, I might be able to, yep, I'm going to go ahead and bring Weaver on. And hello, Kate. Glad you could join us. How's it going? Oh, make
Thank
sure
you.
is your camera off? Make sure your camera's off. I can't tell. Yeah, just make sure your camera's off, Kate.
I think I'm.
Is it? Okay. Okay. I just wasn't sure because you had just like this black circle that it was hard for me to tell. Okay. Okay. Good, good. Well, yeah, glad to have you here.
Hi, Weaver.
Hi, folks. I think I've got a few different sounds going on here. I'm hearing you.
Alright, well, hopefully it'll balance out. I'm going on record to say I absolutely adore Weaver's read and work. And that was by T Manzano. So
Oh,
you've got a
isn't
fan in
that
the studio.
nice?
Yeah.
I'm so. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I think I've got a lot of things. I think I've got too many. Hang on, I might
You need
disappear
to shut
again.
down your YouTube page.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good suggestion there. Great. Yeah, make sure you don't have another device on. Make sure you're not on here and listening on YouTube at the same time.
Okay, am I here now? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so sorry. As usual, I'm just total chaos. I apologize.
Well, you're no longer a StreamYard virgin.
Well, that's good to know. And it was so gentle, I didn't even notice.
Right? I mean, that's the art of seduction right there.
Oh, wow. Nice one. God, Bennett, that was good. Hello, people.
Hi, Weaver.
Mhm.
I haven't heard you in a long time. It's nice to hear your voice.
And you too, both of you. I've missed you.
Yeah, we missed you
Yeah, it's
too.
good to hear you too. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I've got
I
your
have.
poem up. Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, I was going to say I have listened to you, but I hadn't realized that there was two different things. That there was a stream thing going on and a YouTube thing going on. So obviously I've just been listening to you on YouTube. Anyway, never mind. Sorry. Carry
Oh,
on.
good.
Carry on.
All right. So we have your poem with a SoundCloud up next.
All right, and I'm gonna go get that SoundCloud and give it a play.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, so just check your messages on Alt Poetry too.
Okay. I hurry home each day, waiting only for the moon to usurp the sun, closing that perfect circle, thus allowing a sensual silver light to seduce and reduce me to liquid, languid responses. I need only give myself, surrender myself to you, allow the touch of hot lips to satiate and succor me, satin soft, sensual, tantalizing, trapping my breath, my essence held in abeyance betwixt love and lust. Now reduced to a mewling need for release, there is no pride in self, no boundaries. The feel of your skin on mine, the essence of musk and manliness enveloping me, leaves my senses forever reeling. Muscles tighten, holding you, enclosing you, slick and powerful. Every erogenous zone I know, some never before encountered, meld into a release that brings hot tears of love and longing. Knowing this intensity, this desire, when lust with life cannot be sustained, out with that perfect circle, breaks my heart.
Wonderful read and write there, Kate. Thank you for the SoundCloud. I'm glad you were inspired. And Gray, your thoughts.
Yeah, it was a beautiful read. The right was intoxicating and seductive. Um, you have a natural gift for your seductive rights. I need only give myself, surrender myself to you, allow the touch of hot lips to satiate and succor me. Satin soft, sensual, tantalizing, trapping my breath, my essence held in abeyance betwixt love and lust. Beautifully done. Yeah, I mean that line is pretty confusing. You have lust, you think you're in love, but it's not always that way. So beautifully done, Weaver, and an excellent read as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have to agree. Great comment there, Gray. I love that you were inspired to write something new. It's not always easy to write something new when there's not really a specific prompt offered. At least for me, like I oftentimes need that little like starter of a prompt offered up, but this has strong visceral imagery and metaphors. It's very captivating. Um, I love the use of the word betwixt. I mean, that is just a beautiful stanza there. I need only give myself surrender. I only need give myself, surrender myself to you. Allow the touch of hot lips to satiate and succor me. Satin, soft, sensual, tantalizing, trapping my breath. My essence held in ambiance betwixt love and lust. Trying to find that balance between the two, and that love and that desire that becomes an ache, a longing that needs to be fulfilled. Wonderful lines, beautifully written, and very well done. And Kate, would you like to say anything about your poem?
No, except I really enjoyed writing it. Thank you, and thank you for your kind comment. I like writing sensual poetry, so thank you for your comments.
It is
Yeah,
fun to write. I have to agree. So,
eh,
very
most
nice.
poetry comes from experience, so I'm going to take that as a personal experience of yours that you've had.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know if my memory is that good, but thank you. Wow.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So up
Grace
next,
says that until he reads like a poem that you or I wrote, Kate, about, vampires or serial killers. And then he's like, I'm not so sure about this personal experience thing.
Right.
Well, that's strictly between myself and my dentist. I'm saying no more.
All right. So we have I Like by ULCF AF. Whenever you're ready, Pam.
All right. Let me get back to where I need to be. And I will give that a play.
She overflows with goodness, and yet no hiss can be heard from the burner of the gas stove, and to be burned only in a dream. Therefore, I like it when Sue is in my embrace, when in the innocent longing to cuddle, she closes her eyes and lures me with her nearness. And I, instead of being close to madness, lose only my lips in her hair, glad and touched by bliss. I like her openness and the strength of her embrace, with which she beguiles my vigilance and my mind into madness. And I like that delicious shyness that comes over me like the stroke of a chisel, carving me, yet in the manner of a drop. Will the vine that binds us together have time to bloom? Usually I do not like vines, but to be enchanted and not surrender, it is like being healed and wishing to fall ill again, in the hope that the illness is made of gold.
Gotta unmute myself. There we go. Wonderful recording there, Olka F. The great choice of music to go with your words. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. And Kate, your thoughts on this, right?
Oh, it was just lovely. I liked the way it started, and then the beat became just that little bit more beaty, I suppose. I liked it a lot. I'm actually getting very fond of the music coming into the poetry so much more than it was before. I couldn't do it. I tried, but I think it's incredibly clever, and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I have to agree. Yeah, it does take a little bit of practice of knowing like the right information to put in and what things sound good together. And it kind of is a little bit of just tweaking and fidgeting around and just listening and kind of getting a feel for, I think, what sounds right. I've only tried it a couple times myself, and I have to admit, I haven't done a wide variety. Like, I tend to mostly stick to the same styles, but I don't know, I'd like to try to kind of mix things up a bit. But great comment there, Kate. And Gray, your thoughts.
Yeah, I like the song. It had a nice beat to it. Um, the voice was good, but you know, we all risk falling in love when we get close to somebody. Um, I like it when Sue is in my embrace, when in the innocent longing to cuddle, she closes her eyes and lures me with her nearness. There's something so seductive about being close and personal with someone. Intimacy, I guess, is what it is, and it develops a passion. And but will the vine that binds us together have time to bloom? Usually, I do not like vines, but to be enchanted and not surrender, yeah, you're gonna let that vine climb all over you to bloom. So nicely done and a great song as well.
Absolutely, absolutely great comment, Gray. Yeah, I like. It's. I was about to say I like the poem. I like a poem called "I Like." That is a great title. That is a great title. I thought within the music, what was great, as Kate was saying, was the transition going from the spoken word to the increase in the beat and then the musical voice. Um, Wonderful imagery and metaphors, really clever wordplay. Powerful lines. To me, this is very heartfelt. It speaks on the idea of love and desire, when felt when being in the presence of the right person. Um, and I think there's great lines throughout, but I like her openness and the strength of her embrace with which she beguiles my vigilance and my mind into madness. And I like that delicious shyness that comes over me, like the stroke of a chisel carving me yet in the manner of a drop. Wonderful lines, beautifully written and very well done by Olka F. And back to you, Gray.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so the next right is called Under the Quilt, and it's by Darina. If you wouldn't mind, please reading that, Weaver, that would be great.
A problem. I just have to find it. Um, is it higher up or lower down from the one we just had in the list?
Lower down.
Lower down. Okay, I'm going down. Okay, but hang on. I'll be with you in a moment. Under the Quilt. Oh, I got it. I got it. Cool. Okay, this is Under the Quilt by Derrida. Under the quilt, dawn between legs drizzling wet, your fingers travel south to the puddle, water splashing. First sunrays, spotlight the reddened rear, spank marks. Sheet tangled, your ribs are numbered with my touch. Knees parted, damp hair tickles, seasoned with salt. Strong breeze, shuttles fast in the tunnel, calling my name. Our chorus rings with the alarm. No snooze. Last drop lingers on my thigh. Your signature for tonight. End poem.
Wonderful read there, Kate. And what an amazing sensual write by Darina. And your thoughts, Gray.
Yeah, you did a fabulous read of that, right, Weaver? But Under the Quilt is a great title because, we all know what happens under the quilt. There's good times to be had under the quilt, besides sleeping, of course, but that's after you have fun and tire yourself out. But our chorus rings with the alarm. No snooze. Last drop lingers on my thigh. Your signature for tonight. I mean, whoa. That's incredibly seductive and sensual. So nicely done, uh, Darina. I've never heard of you, but great, right?
Great comment there, Gray. And yes, new name to me too. Always wonderful to read a new poet, or at least somebody who's new to me. And Kate, your thoughts?
Yeah, new to me too. But very well written. I love the first stanza. I mean, that sets you up for the rest of the storyline, as it were. Um, but I particularly liked first sunrays, spotlight the red and rear spank marks. Well, okay, that's cool. Um, Very well written. As I say, it's a very interesting piece of poetry, and I'm certainly be looking out for that name again. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Great comment, Weaver. Yeah, I think this is just absolutely, to me, a delicious erotic write. Wonderful imagery and metaphors. I like how there's this idea of an intensity of touch that leaves a signature. And Oh my goodness gracious, so many wonderful lines throughout. But I did especially like your fingers travel south to the puddle, water splashing. First sun rays spotlight the red and rear spank marks. Sheet tangled, your ribs are numbered with my touch. Wonderful lines, beautifully written and nicely done by Darina. And back to you, Gray.
Have A Beautiful Woman by Ed Hunter, and I will give that a read. I remember her many springs ago. She opened up a silent heart. Her eyes sparkled like diamonds, majestic, magical, infinite. A woman, a flower, the world, just like it was meant to be. We were the lost generations, our golden times, simply delicious. Her body breathed into me like a seed, continuously tasting the earth's moisture. I craved her mouth beyond her own ecstasy. When I held her, I held everything that is, a pure love binding our wounds from a far distance. Our secret was eloquent, yet confusing, full of illusions, and her body filled my starvation of loneliness worth more than 1,000 lives. Our beauty unveils an exquisite screenplay where eternity becomes a verdant field of time in space. End poem.
Great read there, Gray. And what a beautiful, heartfelt write by Ed Hunter. This has a certain nostalgic feel. I was I was looking up the Lost Generation because I couldn't remember when that was. This must be like a kind of a historical romance type thing because the Lost Generation was people born at or around the time of World War I, or just like around that time. So that, given that, unless he has like, maybe he means a lost generation in a more metaphorical sense rather than a specific decades or generation. Um, so it could be either way. It could be kind of like historical romance, or it could be that there's this metaphor of like maybe two people who feel lost without each other. But either way, I think this has a strong emotional impact and captivating lines. It is a wonderful romantic write on love shared that bonds two people together. And I think there's great lines throughout, but I did especially like, I craved her mouth beyond her own ecstasy. When I held her, I held everything that is, a pure love binding our wounds from a far distance. Wonderful lines, beautifully written, and very well done by Ed Hunter. And Kate, your thoughts?
Oh yes, this is like you, I was very interested in that lost generation part of the poem. Um, for some reason, it triggers a memory, but I can't grasp. I think it must be a generation past. I think by the way it's written, um, because there is a timelessness about it. There is a I can't think of the word. It's there's a gentleman and a lady kind of feeling about this, as opposed to a gal. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was very romantic. Her body breathes into me like a seed, continuously tasting the earth's moisture. That's just lovely. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It was lovely.
Absolutely. Great observations there, Kate. Thank you. And and Gray, you did a wonderful read of that. Go ahead and share your thoughts with us and then bring us on to the next right.
I really enjoyed the rate. I remember her many springs ago. She opened up a silent heart. Her eyes sparkled like diamonds. Um, I don't know. That relates to me quite a bit, just because of I've been swept off my feet by beauty a few times in my life, and that's kind of what I got out of that, was seeing eyes sparkling like diamonds hit home with me, because I don't know. There's To me, the eyes reveal the soul. You know, they tell the desires and intent of the people behind those eyes. And so the eyes to me are magical. But then I craved her mouth beyond her own ecstasy. When I held her, I held everything that is a love, pure, binding our wounds from a far distance. Um, I mean, there's something about being embraced and embracing somebody that's so intimate and so engaging, that especially when there's passion between the two people that are embracing. It was such a seductive and engaging write throughout. So nicely done, not done, Headhunter. Okay, Pam Ray, I have the next poem up. It's called Eternal Sonnet by Eric Svensson. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Let me just post that on YouTube and then I'll get back there. All right, here we go. Vocal cord fingers reach out, flutters like spring butterflies, moist skin responds, heaves rich resonance. Sound of calibrated urge sings around crystal vase, purple tulip petals respond, controlled voice inserts light codes, rise and fall of chest, arch of back to accommodate skilled fingers, scent laden air swirls, silken scarf flutters, words become hands extended, audible suitors beg communion, tender pushback of petals, stamen eager to shed pollen, white egrets take flight, invisible air currents fondle, freedom's cry off cobalt, bounces of cobalt skies, loud sigh of satisfaction sounds, hushed thunderstorms, gathered momentum, vocal cords coaxed, calibrated rhythmic body movement, solar plexus soundboard responded, inner ear became giddy from absorption, nerves ends tingled, wave upon wave rushed, shoreline shudder collapse was inevitable, tenacious vocal cord fingers relaxed, gentle harp sounds replaced, obi, obi dialogue, objects of affection soothed with whispers, music sheet hands support supine afterglow, conductor ponders performance, obi soliloquy, courted cello interaction, scaled melody meander to mountaintop, sonorous snowflakes cartwheeled a blizzard. End poem. Oh, that is just absolutely a wonderful, captivating central right by Eric Svensson. And your thoughts, Gray?
Sorry. Yeah. I really enjoyed the right. I mean, I like the metaphors of the music involved, and it's like an orchestra being played here. But sound of calibrated urge sings around crystal vase. Purple tulip petals respond. Controlled voice inserts light codes. Rise and fall of chest, arc of back to accommodate skilled fingers. Scent laden air swirls. Silken scarf flutters. I mean, that's so rich in metaphor that it's almost incomprehensible. So nicely done, and great read as well, Pam Ray.
Thank you there, Gray, and wonderful comment. And your Kate, your thoughts, Kate, not your Kate thoughts. So that yeah, that would make
That would
absolutely
work.
no sense there.
What? That worked. Your Kate thoughts. I give you my Kate thoughts. I like it. Very good. That was a lovely read, by the way. Yes, as Grace said, the instruments, the music, I like that. Hushed thunderstorm gathered momentum, vocal cords coaxed, calibrated rhythmic body movement, solar plexus soundboard responded. I mean, that's very clever, and I do like clever. So, and also sensual, which is handy. Um, yes, very well written, and I enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Great comment there. I love the consistency and tone with this, with the constant use of music, metaphors, great gentle use of alliteration, wonderful imagery, captivating lines. You don't see too many people that bring the obian to a sensual right, and it works so well because it is a very deep sounding wind instrument. It's a very deep sounding instrument, and it just makes a wonderful metaphor to represent the masculine, just as the cello has those curves that represent very well the feminine body. And I like the rhythm in this. I like how it speaks on the eroticism of music and shared between two people. Um, all the way through, but I especially liked where it says hushed thunderstorms gathered momentum, vocal cords coaxed, calibrated rhythmic body movement, solar plexus soundboard responded. And then those last two stanzas also wonderful, wonderful, right, and very well done. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring Robbie on, and then he can share his thoughts on this poem. So, welcome, Robbie. Glad you could join us.
Hello.
Hey,
It was
Robbie.
nice. Hello. Hey there, Gray. Hello,
Hi.
Kate. I thought it was a great poem to enter in on for me to comment, just because there's so much musicality. And I was saying in chat, like the cello has those two holes, and I think they're actually technically called F holes. So I went, yeah, for erotic poetry contests. It's like, oh, carve out those F holes. Okay. Anyways, I'm being terrible. But yeah, it's too easy, right? But he very skillfully uh applies the physicality of the instruments in a way that uh, uh like, as a musician myself, I like seeing when somebody does that more skillfully, where it's not just like kind of plug and play, like, oh well, it's an instrument, so the strings vibrate. Like, he really brings out the characteristics of the instrument and music itself, and like the idea of the conductor in a way that's deep, and that really does make it feel like the sensuality and the instruments and uh the idea of musicality itself. It's all really connected, and it's brung out. um yeah, that's because, again, like I say, sometimes with the instruments, it can be too easy to kind of be too straightforward with it. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but when you want to have something that really plumbs the depths, yeah, I think you end up with a poem like this. And I enjoyed it for that. And I like how, like, it has terms like solar plexus, soundboard, um those kind of things, because it gives it's those kinds of phrases and stanzas that give the poem the physicality of the music that it has.
Oh, absolutely. Great observations there, Robbie. And Gray, back to you.
Alrighty, so up next we have My Avant Garde Lover by Julie Buck. If you wouldn't mind reading that, please, Robbie, that would be wonderful.
All right, I'm just gonna queue up my tabs here so it's nice and easy. Okay, put that over there. My Avant-Garde Lover by Julie Buck. I have an avant-garde lover, cut from the softest of sable, and fictitious silk that clings to my curves like warm virtue on wily woman. I have a sublime neckline, bejeweled in black diamonds, and I am the manic myth of him in his legend, like graphic graffiti on ghetto walls. I have a chance at new love. My nipples harden at the thought. They ache for your touch. Feel me. Feel me love your heat. It's manly and hot. Labyrinth of mysticism, of which I often get lost within. I love to tease. I want to please. But I also always I knew I should have never lingered as long as I did. End poem.
Great read there, Robbie. And Kate, your thoughts.
Can I ask first of all, you don't hear the sound of my little fan, do you? Or do you?
No, no.
Oh, good. I'm just a bit worried in case it was too loud. No, this is lovely from Julie Buck. I love the title. I love anything that sounds French, so that goes beautifully. And the first stanza sets it up beautifully. A fictitious silk that clings to my curves like warm virtue on wily women. I like that. Yes, I thought this was beautifully written. There's a great.
Oh, absolutely. I have to agree. Great comment there, Kate. And Gray, your thoughts.
Yeah, I like this piece by Julie Buck. I've been following her for quite a few years now, and she always really nails it when it comes to her seductive poetry. Um, she really hits the notes with that opening stanza, as well as labyrinth illusion, labyrinth of my stoicism, of which I often get lost within. I love to tease. I want to please. Yeah, that's it. Every man needs a woman like that. So nicely done, Julie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment, Gray. And Robbie, your thoughts.
There's a certain sassiness almost to this. It kind of, that, how, like, when someone owns themselves, they just know what they want, and they know what they are like, and it's interesting. It's like they know how people perceive them. And that can be a powerful thing, and it's not necessarily an arrogant thing. Sometimes somebody just generally is found to be attractive, and they know it. And there's kind of a feel like that, a feeling of that in here. And labyrinth of mysticism is an interesting phrase. Uh, and I like how it's followed with "I love to tease, I want to please." But then it's when it's followed by but also I knew I should have never lingered as long as I did. So it sounds like that something had happened after, like they maybe things didn't go in the direction they wanted after, and if they didn't linger, then it wouldn't have happened. And I was a little surprised that that was at the end. Although maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe the linger is more of a tease that they're talking about. I'm not too sure, but yeah, just the last line and its tone kind of veered off from what I felt was like the tone of the rest of the poem. But again, I like the self ownership in this, and just the general description. It had some unique descriptions like softest of sable, sublime neckline. It's all very like soft, but very kind of like almost like hard imagery at the same time. And it just had an elegance and sleekness to it, like bejeweled in black diamonds. It really brought out a visual element for me. Like I could really see it in my mind's eye. Like also like how it says graphic graffiti on ghetto walls. So yeah, those images that she used really flared out to me and in my mind's eye.
Absolutely. Great comment, Robbie. Yeah, I always enjoy and appreciate Julie's writing, especially her sensual rights. I do like how, well, first of all, I like the title, My Avant Garde Lover. An avant garde person being somebody who's into, new ideas, trying new things. So this is the idea of a lover who's very experimental. This has such strong visceral imagery and metaphors. I like how she does write in the voice of a very confident woman. I do especially like I have a sublime neckline, bejeweled in black diamonds, and I am the manic myth in his legend, like graphic graffiti on ghetto walls. Also, I do feel like there's some wordplay within those end lines, like a duality of layered meaning. So wonderful, right? And very well done by Julie Buck. And back to you, Gray. Is Gray on mute?
I sure was.
I thought so.
Yeah, I said, Weaver, you may want to put your bib on because we are up with Feast Erotica by Muse Stalker. Whenever you're ready.
Okie dokie. Happy to. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. So this is Feast Erotica. He whispers my essence in extinct exotic tongues, whose perfume films me in roughened ochre musk, offering up flimsy filigree tensions, like incenses murmured from between my knees. He spreads me thickly as sweet summer jam, and wears its wine sap in the sharp cleft of a stubbled chin. I swing on star fruits and half moons, just rising, grope my way, blind, past lesser glimmerings, to this white-hot, politely pilfered pleasure. End poem.
Wonderful read there, Kate. And what an absolutely delicious sensual write by Muse Stalker. And Robbie, your thoughts.
Yeah, there's such unique imagery here, but it worked so well. That can be hard to pull off sometime when you use unique imagery like that. It can sound a bit affected, or it just falls a little flat. But there's something very. I would definitely use the word decadent in this. Like he spreads me thickly as sweet summer jam. I mean, you can't get any more decadent than that, right? And I like the how they oh yeah, grope my way blind. That really that it's like grope my way by itself is sensual enough, but then blind, it just adds even more of a sensuality to it. And and when it says past lesser glimmerings, again, that's something that's so unique. I It's such a unique way to say something that I don't think anybody else could come up with that line in that time, other than that poet. It's always interesting when you come up with lines like that, and you're not going to come up with them that one like that, probably ever again, or not for a long, long time. And it sounded like somehow I got a feeling of like thickness in this. Like everything's kind of like a dripping thickness sort of a thing. Everything it's like everything. It gives it the poem a feeling of, well, the decadence comes partly from that, from like everything is taking its time, and everything is it's like almost like a density to it, and that kind of gives it like a fullness of feeling and a fullness of physicality.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Decadence is definitely a perfect word to describe this poem. And Kate, your thoughts.
Well, this this was a delight to read. I really enjoyed it. Uh, that first stanza and the first couple of lines. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself coming back, and it's very disconcerting. I apologize. So I'll just say I really enjoyed it. I liked the decadence very much, and I know I want a sandwich with jam. Thank you very much. Peanut butter and jam would be very nice.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you for calling in, Kate. We very much appreciate you. And Gray, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've never came across the author before, so it's always nice to read a new person's work, Muse Stalker. I like the profile pic. I mean, it's obviously a child picture, which was great. Reminds me of my youth. But it was very sorry, just got it back to it here. Very engaging throughout. I mean, the title really brings you in and kind of makes your mouth water. But then he whispers my essence in extinct exotic tongues, whose perfume films me in roughened ochre musk, offering up flimsy filigreed attention, like incense is murmured from between my knees. I mean, so seductive, so engaging throughout. And then he spreads me thickly as sweet summer jam, and wears its wine's sap in a sharp cleft of a stubbled chin. The metaphor there is great, and I really enjoyed the write. So nice job, Muse Talker.
Oh, I have to agree. Wonderful comment there, Gray. This has such amazing imagery and metaphors. It's truly a treat for the senses. Obviously, I have read Muse Stalker before because I left a comment back in October 22. So I think it's been a while though. So it's good to read this one again. And wonderful lines throughout. But I especially like where it says, he spreads me thickly as sweet summer jam and wears its wine sap in the sharp cleft of a stubbled chin. Wonderful lines, beautifully written, and very well done. And back to you, Gray.
All right. Up next, we have a poem called Sensual Seasoning by Heather Wagner. And I'll give this a read. The light of dusk illuminating lined spiral notepad as Ticonderoga yellow pencil scratches, etches marks, creating words that hold. No, wait. No sooner had I begun writing when my honey appears as I lay sprawled on our sleep throne, pounced with a proposition of the sensual sort, as middle-aged parents, spontaneity sparsely manifest. I indulge in fleshy desires, tasting him, smelling him, caressing him. Why does he smell of garlic? My fresh mouth kisses ripe from oral hygiene alert me of a pungent presence that does not offend me. Poor man's seasoning tastes like home, a home I cannot go back to, but we continue to thrust ourselves into our future. End poem.
Great read there, Gray. And what an absolutely amazing sensual write. And Heather Wegner is definitely a new name to me. Always good to see a new name. And Robbie, your thoughts?
This poem in particular had a certain sort of I don't know, like passage through time almost, like the way it's paced and the kind of the meticulousness of the descriptions. It really takes its time. I really felt like in this one that it's almost like they were writing it in a notebook. This one had a very unique feeling and flavor to me, and it's almost like, yeah, like someone was writing their adventure in a notebook and describing all the smells and the sensations and that, and and then you're reading it and going through it, and yeah, some of the tastes in that kind of surprised me. Like, why does he taste of garlic? And then when it says my fresh mouth kisses ripe from oral hygiene alert me, that part there, I thought, yeah, that was a really unique. I was just wondering about like the garlic part, but anyways, yeah, it really, for some reason, it's interesting poem. It was an interesting poem that way, that it almost felt like a journal entry for how paced and how meticulous it was, and it gave it a unique feel for me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that observation because it does kind of feel like a journal entry. So very cool. And before I get the next comment, I did want to mention, Kate, that if you're having any issues with sound, what sometimes helps is to leave the studio and then come back, and then I can pick you back up. And sometimes that helps. And Gray, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the way it blends like memory, the future, the present, and experience, personal. Like it reads like Robbie said, a diary entry. Um, so nicely done. Great share, Heather Wagner.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have to agree. Wonderful comment there, Gray. Yeah, this is so just captivating and visceral. I like to how to me it feels like everyday life. Um, I don't know, because I have to say, putting why does he taste of garlic as a question does kind of throw me off, because to me, if your lover smells like garlic, it's because he's been either eating your cooking, which because you've cooked with garlic, or he's doing the cooking. I love the idea of a man who cooks with garlic. I am all for, having a man cook for me that involves a lot of garlic. But the fact that it's a question, it almost feels like how you would ask, um, why does he have lipstick or perfume that's not mine on him? Like, why is his perfume not mine? I mean, I might be misinterpreting it, but I feel like by asking that question, it's like there's this idea of something happening that isn't quite right. But I thought there was great lines throughout. But as far as the sensuality, I especially liked. I indulge in fleshly desires, tasting him, smelling him, caressing him. Wonderful lines and beautifully written by Heather. I'm pretty sure it's got to be Wagner, but I just keep wanting to say Wegner. So thank you, Heather, so much for sharing this with us. It is greatly appreciated. And Kate, would you like to share any thoughts?
Oh yes, I was also fascinated by the why does he taste of garlic? But then if you look at the next line, my fresh mouth kisses bright from oral hygiene alert me of a pungent presence. So she's become aware of the garlic, but it doesn't seem to be bothering her. It's just reminding her of home. So I think we can just say that's okay. Nothing going on there, which is lovely because it would have spoiled a beautiful piece of poetry if it had been a bit sad at the end. So yes, I like this a lot. Thank you so much for sharing Sensual Seasoning. Hello?
Unmute Pam Ray. Pam Ray, where are you?
Oh no.
Her voice kept fading out and then coming back in, and now she's gone completely.
Oh.
So I posted the next poem. We'll skip Pam and Robbie, if you wouldn't mind reading for Disarm by Ianthia.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I was going to disconnect my mic there for a second. I got to be careful. That's the last thing I want to do at this point. Okay. There we go. Disarm by Ianthia. Lay your arms down on the weary ground, the red seeping away as my gaze falls on you like soothing rain. Lay your demons to rest, disappear with the brutal night as you stand before me like the serene light of dawn. Let the earth bloom between our feet with the coneflowers and daffodils, the sakuras spreading like hope above us. Lay yourself to me, bare yourself to me, discard your cloak of cold steel, mask of burning rage. Your body at ease, I softened, colliding gently with my unveiled radiance as I glide in a glimmering dress of dream and fireflies, and draw you close to my breast at the end of blood, beginning of grace. End poem.
Beautiful read, Robbie. And Weaver, what are your thoughts?
Oh, this is lovely. I like this one. I like them all, but I like this one. Disarm. I mean, it's just there. It is all in the title. Lay your arms down on the weary ground. The red seeping away as my gaze falls on you like soothing rain. Lay your demons to rest. I mean, that's just lovely. I like it a lot. I like the lady's name, Iantha. Iantha, lovely. So yes, I really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for sharing it.
Beautiful
Great.
comment. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No problem. Sorry about that. I'm back. I was having so much trouble hearing anything or anyone. So I just had to drop. But thank you, Gray, so much. And I'll just let you continue with leading comments for this one because I'm not really sure exactly who has commented and who hasn't.
Alrighty. Geez, no, I'm confused. Did you read that, Weaver? Or no, you
Uh,
didn't. Robbie read
no,
it.
I
Robbie
read it.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I really enjoyed the poem. Like, I mean, a woman knows how to pacify and soothe her lover. You know, he's coming off the battlefield and, he's raging. And he tells him to, just lay your sword down, lay your guns down on the weary ground, let the blood flow away. And then, she looks at him like soothing rain. Lay your demons to rest, disappear with the brutal night as you stand before me like the serene light of dawn. You know, I mean, this speaks to me of the role in a man's life of a woman to be able to um, soften the edges of his rage because men get filled with rage when they're angry and warring, and he brings peace to his battlefield. So I really enjoyed it. And Robbie, what did you think?
There's a unique swinging back and forth here between some lighter and darker imagery, which I found interesting. Uh, and I'm thinking about how that relates to disarming. And because in a sensual poem, disarm, to me, that'll be like letting your guard down. And I think sometimes when you getting someone to let their guard down, it kind of does happen like that sometimes, where you're like a little more fierce at first, but then you're gentle, and so there's an interesting dynamic that way, because you have soothing rain, but then you have the demons laying to rest, uh, and they're disappearing in the brutal night. But then it talks about a serene light of dawn. So yeah, very. I think that created an interesting dynamic, and I think that's the way my brain would work if someone was successfully disarming me, so to speak. That they would be more like direct and not fierce quite, but strong, and then caring. I think that is something that if a person knows how to do that well, they can be very successful in helping somebody to let their defenses down. Because it's like this balance, it's kind of almost yin and yang of like kind of like shaking somebody loose, getting them to shake loose out of their defensiveness, but then being gentle after it so that they're not going to feel threatened by that after.
Beautiful comment, Robbie. Pam Ray, are you dropped again?
No, no, I'm here. I just was waiting to hear something. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is just beautiful as always. I mean, Ianthea has some of the most amazing sensual poetry, wonderful imagery and metaphors. I really like how this speaks on finding a sense of peace and comfort within each other, finding that ability to be soothed within um, being vulnerable to a lover. And I thought there was great lines throughout, but I especially like, let the earth bloom beneath our feet with the coneflowers and daffodils, the secure spreading like hope above us. Bear yourself to me, discard your cloak of cold steel, mask of burning rage, your body at ease, eyes softened. Wonderful lines and beautifully written by Ianthea. And back to you, Gray.
Okay, well, we've got 4 minutes left. I think there's time for one more read. Pam, would
Yep,
you read The Second Bloom by Gray0328?
I would be happy to. I'll just get that posted on YouTube and get back to where I need to be. All right. I was a weathered lighthouse standing strong, but empty inside. Years wrapped around me like a fog, thick and unmoving, quiet and cold. I told myself, this is enough. I built my days in solitude's hands, stitched them together with routine, wished the stars their nightly hellos, but never asked for them to stay. Then you, a sunrise I'd forgotten, spilled light into the creases of me, a laugh warm as bread just baked, a touch that whispered home softly. You looked at me and saw roots where I thought weeds had grown. Now I trace the map of your face, memorizing every wrinkle like a vow. How foolish I was to believe endings when love was waiting to surprise me. 69 years to find my beginning, and then there was you. End poem. Oh, that is such a beautiful and heartfelt right. And your thoughts, Gray?
Sorry, can you come back to me? My dog's freaking out.
Sure, no problem. And Kate, your thoughts?
Yes, this is lovely. I like that a lot. I love the read too. I I built my days in solitude's hands, stitched them together with routine. That's just lovely. And then wished the stars their nightly hellos, but never asked for them to stay. And I do like that first line. I was a weathered lighthouse, standing strong. Yeah, beautifully done. Thank you so much, Gray 0328, for sharing.
Absolutely. Great comment. And Robbie, your thoughts? Robbie, are you on mute?
Oh, the mute monster finally caught me. My record's pretty good. Finally got me. It's bound to happen. Yeah, with this poem, I love lighthouses, and lighthouses are a fascination of mine, both as an image in poetry and otherwise. And It's interesting to hear a lighthouse in a sensual context like this, and it makes sense that it was used in the poem as it was, like this, this beacon of light to draw someone in when they might feel lost. And I love the idea of now I trace the map of your face, memorizing every wrinkle like a vow. And that's the thing, like they're just taking all of them in. It's like it's not talking about a beautiful smoothness of the face. It's memorizing every wrinkle, and so they're taking all of them in. All their age and their marks and everything. That's a very beautiful uh, sentiment to me, and it sounds like he was about to give up, but now he's finally found love and he's happy for it because he wanted to believe that, it says believe endings, but then love surprised him, and he's found her. So yeah, very beautiful sentiment, and it was like had a definitely a softness to it.
It does. I have to agree. And I too really love the sentiment of this, the idea of almost giving up hope and then finding love later in life. It has these just beautiful, heartfelt lines. And Gray, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was an excellent write. The whole thing was spot on. Yeah, I really liked the metaphor of him being a lighthouse and years wrapped in fog. Um, he built his days in solitude's hands, stitched them together with routine, because that's what you do when you're alone. You just find routines and you just kind of mull through life that way through your routines, and then you get looked at, and suddenly somebody's being enchanted by you, and you know, how foolish was I was to believe endings when love was waiting to surprise me. 69 years to find my beginning, and then there was you. So, I mean, when you find love at 69 years after having none throughout your life, that's incredible. Nicely done. Great. 0328. Thank you for kindly for sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And let's face it, you very rarely can go wrong with the number 69. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Right?
Spot on, Pam.
I had to jump on my mute button.
Great comment there, Gray. And great show tonight, Gray. Thank you, as always, for co hosting with me. I really appreciate you. Just a reminder, everyone, carryovers will be read next week, along with rights that we still need to gather permission for, that I still need to gather permission for. Plus, the contest is still open if anyone wants to share an open sensual right in the contest or on the topic board once that's put up. But wonderful show tonight. Thank you, Gray. Thank you, Robbie and Kate, for calling in. Thank you to Tim Manzano for hanging on the board. Thank you to our listeners on YouTube, to those who are listening now or will be listening later. We truly appreciate you all. In about a half hour, you can join Monarch Soul and JoJo for books and bards. And do make sure to keep an eye out on the contests and topic boards put up by our late night poets, host and hostesses, because you're sure to find something to inspire. And have a wonderful night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Much love.
Good night.